Happy spring, friends. There is a lot of energy and excitement coming your way in the next half hour, but my real hope is that you'll sleep better tonight as a result of our time together. That's right. I'm starting today's show by talking with a sleep expert who will tell us what we can start doing today to improve our sleep habits. Then I'll share some simple ways and revolutionary products to implement her sleep advice. I'm also giving you a first-hand look at one of the most unique ways to experience some of the best food and entertainment Music City has to offer, including views you won't find anywhere else. And finally, I'll tell you about the hottest fashion trends for spring with a new store opening announcement you'll hear about first from me. So get ready to be inspired and equipped like never before, because this is the Sami Cone Show.
From the News Channel 5 network, this is the Sami Cone Show.
Sleeping should be a no-brainer, right? Well, in fact, it uses a lot of our brain, and some of us maybe could be sleeping a little better. That's why I've called on an expert and my son's physician, Dr. Mariana Bedoya from the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, to give us some expertise today. Dr. Bedoya, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
It's
my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Well, we value you so much, and I just have learned so much about sleep because of you. But I mean, really, this is something I feel like we've taken for granted. Why do you think sleep has just emerged so much in the news, with everyone from, professional athletes and sports psychologists to really putting a new focus on it, especially with our children?
Yeah, so honestly, I think sleep has always been important. I think along with nutrition and exercise, sleep is one of the three pillars of a healthy lifestyle. And I think especially now with the pandemic of all the, different schedules and routines, and not having actually a routine is what makes sleep more difficult. It can give you difficulties falling asleep, staying asleep, and, just poor kind of schedules has made the insomnia worse over the past few years.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute, because that's one thing we learned from you, is that especially with having teenagers, and I know you're assistant professor in the pediatric department, when we think of, they go to school, they get up at a certain time, and then the weekends, that's when they catch up on sleep. But that's a myth, is that correct?
Exactly. So definitely it's important to have the good quantity, so enough hours of sleep. And exactly like you said, some people think, well, I can sleep 5 or 6 hours during the weekdays because I'm so busy, and I'm trying to catch up over the weekend. Patients, teenagers especially, sleep 10, 12 hours over the weekend. And all the study shows that, you're not going to catch up. Just a few nights of poor sleep quality or quantity can, give you issues with sugar control, other hormones like hunger or feeling full with food, or obviously daytime activities like concentration, memory, and focusing.
Yeah, so before we get to what a healthy sleep schedule should look like, or some of the things we can do, what are some of the biggest culprits that are hurting our sleep right now, besides that, like you said, thinking we can catch up on the weekends?
Yeah, I think, like I said, two things are crucial. One is enough quantity of sleep, so enough hours of sleep. So kind of going like in a general way, school-age children should sleep between 9 to 12 hours, but then, teenagers should be sleeping around 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And most of them, they don't do this because they have to wake up very, very early for school, and they finish up very, very late, after sports or extracurricular activities or even homework. And then exactly like we talked about, this underestimation of the importance of sleep and having this good sleep routine, sleep hygiene, which we can talk about a little bit in detail after. And then technology, it has pros and cons, especially now with the pandemic. A lot of things being virtual, electronics, having that light exposure all the time is also giving you difficulties falling asleep or staying asleep.
Yeah, how long before we go to sleep should we be shutting that down? And I'm just asking for a friend, not that I have any problem turning off the TV or my phone, of course. But what should that timeline be to make sure we're getting that optimal sleep?
And that's a great question. And it's really important. So the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, they recommend about 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime. Try to reduce that light exposure, any type of light, sunshine or lights in your home, particularly electronics like, tablets, phone, TV, that light, it can change your brain or trick your brain like into a more alert way. So it kind of blocks the melatonin. So melatonin is a hormone that helps us to fall asleep quickly and maintain good sleep. So we're exposed to that near bedtime. It can block that melatonin and give you that feel, that sense of being alert. So I tell my patients about 30 minutes to an hour to avoid those electronics.
Okay, and we just have a minute left, but talking about that good sleep hygiene, I know you gave us a trick that really helped in terms of not just if you're going to bed at 1 a.m. all of a sudden going to bed at 10. How do you recommend people really change that sleep hygiene and that sleep routine before bed?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to move our circadian rhythm, which is basically our inner clock. So patients who struggle, especially in the summer weekends, they're falling asleep pretty late. I recommend to move that clock slowly because it takes time to adjust. So if you have like a 3 or 4 hour gap that you want to move or shift that bedtime to an earlier time, I typically tell patients between 15 to 30 minutes every 5 days or so, try to shift that bedtime to an earlier time. So within a couple of weeks, you'll go to your, desired bedtime.
Yeah, that's perfect. Dr. Bedoya, thank you so much for joining us today from the Children's Hospital. I know we'll be seeing you soon, and I want you to come back because I'm going to be showing all of you some simple ways and some products to use to be implementing Dr. Bedoya's techniques for all of us at home. Dr. Bedoya, thank you for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We'll be right back. If the tips we just learned from Dr. Bedoya have gotten you thinking, what's wrong with my sleep routine? Or maybe like I did, what am I sleeping on? It's time for a bed overhaul. So let's give your whole sleep hygiene routine a makeover. And let's start with what you're sleeping on. I know for me, like I said, it had been years since I thought about it. And so I went to my friends at Casper and we did an entire bed makeover from mattress to sheets, pillows, blankets. And what I found interesting is that I knew my son already loved the Casper pillows. And their original is really award-winning. And what I love is that it has this zipper pocket here so that you can actually take out the insets, you can wash the coverings. There's a lot you can do. I love their hybrid pillow that really combines the plushness of their original with the foam and fiber technology. So that's something that I found has really helped me. If you're going to do nothing else, go into a Casper store if you can and try out the different pillows they have to see what works best for you. Another game changer was their Hyperlight sheets because these have this grid woven in. I don't know if you could tell. I wish you could feel these right now. But the grid really acts like vents almost. So it helps with this technology that keeps you cool throughout the night. Plus, I love that you actually have sheets that stay in place. So we've got the elastic here on the fitted sheet that truly helps you to be able to keep your sheets staying where they are, especially if you're sleeping with someone else. And another thing that's been really interesting for us is the adjustable base. Now, if you're sleeping with someone, maybe they snore, maybe they just have a different comfort level than you, the adjustable base has really revolutionized how I sleep because you can lift yourself up a little bit, maybe lift your partner up. You can sit up in bed if you want to do some reading before bed, maybe grab the Casper waffle throw pillow here. But it's really important to make your bedroom a haven so that when you go to sleep, you're actually looking forward to sleeping, you're comfortable, you've surrounded yourself with everything. Plus, one of the things we love about the Casper mattress is that you can unroll it within about 30 seconds. It came to life. We've seen others where you have to let it sit for 48 hours. This you unbox, unroll, and voila, you have got a brand new heavenly bed truly waiting for you. Okay, so let's look at some of the other tips that Dr. Bedoya was telling us about in terms of turning electronics off about 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed. So when you do that, you also want to make sure your room is really dark. So consider just buying a simple sleep mask. You can also get blue light glasses to help block that out. Casper also offers a Hyperlight, which really helps you to, get into that soothing mode. It gets rid of those harmful, those rays that we want to avoid, but sets that soothing atmosphere that we want to try to embrace when we go to sleep so that we can have that good sleep cycle. Another thing you want to think about doing is diffusing calming scents. Lavender is obviously something that we know is a great calming scent. And so you can put this you can just open it up and you can Give a little smell there if you don't have a diffuser, but a diffuser is a great way to do that. I also love Thistle Farms bath soaks because that's something that will really help calm you down, especially if you have children. We love doing their bath soaks. Now, if you need a little extra help when you're sleeping, you might want to consider doing something like melatonin or a sleep gummy. These from Unisom we found that we just love. I don't know how they work so well, but they do. Obviously, some people have different medicines they use, but I try to do things naturally when I can. And these have worked so well for both me and my teenagers. You can even just do one of those to help you go off to bed. Now, just the real natural, of course, hot tea is great before bed. Make sure you find something without caffeine in it, like a herbal tea. Give a teaspoon of honey, and that's something that's going to really help soothe, especially during these allergy-laden months when your sinuses may not be feeling as well. Throw a teaspoon of honey in there, and it'll just help everything right before bed. My final tip, you see this little yoga block I have here? This is something you can pick up. I got mine at 5 Below. You just want to get your feet above your heart. Do it for 2 minutes. If you don't have a yoga block, it's okay. You can put your legs up on the wall, and then you've got something that's going to, again, help relax you before you go to bed. But I would encourage you to not only give your sleep routine a makeover, but give your whole bedroom a makeover, because when you're walking into a sanctuary, you know you're comfy, you know it's what you want, you're going to be able to sleep more peacefully and have a good night's sleep. What tops your list for the perfect night out in Music City? Good food? Live music? How about amazing views of the Nashville skyline? Now, what if I told you I had the perfect vessel for all of that in one? Vessel being the key word. Allow me to take you on a trip down the historic Cumberland River on the grandest vessel afloat, the General Jackson Showboat, and introduce you to their newest show for 2022, Rollin' on the River. I'm here with Matt Davenport, creator, executive producer, writer of the new Rollin' on the River show here at the General Jackson Showboat. Rollin' on the River, tell me a little bit about how you created the title, the content, what went into that for this year?
So we started doing some research, and we basically found out that some of the most important musical river towns, you know, take you from New Orleans all the way to this very city that we're in right now, which is Nashville. So we wanted to tell that story.
And you do it literally by almost taking us on a true stop at each of those towns. You start in New Orleans, I'm assuming with some jazz.
Well, first of all, we've got 8 live musicians, which includes 3 horn players, which allows you to play the traditional jazz that we're so excited about. Then we head on down the river to Memphis, and we come up with some soul music and some R&B, like with Little Richard and Elvis and Jerry Lee. And then we make our little final stop. You turn and you come down the Cumberland River, and here you land in Nashville. So we celebrate the roots of country and today's country.
You're an award-winning writer. You know, creating these shows, how do you keep coming up with new ideas and making them something that people want to come back and listen to over and over again?
The magic of what we do is coming up with ideas and things that you think people will be intrigued by. So it's not just entertainment, it's not history, it's a little bit of both you get as you go along.
I just want to know, is there a place for me in the show?
We're working on it. We're working on it.
It's not a no. It's not. You heard it here first.
Maybe.
I had to ask. I'm joined by Nikki Melee, one of the performers on the Rollin' on the River show. So you sing, you dance, you're a triple threat. And so do you get to do all of that in the Rollin' on the River show?
This show is jam-packed with costumes and lights, choreography, singing.
If you could tell someone one reason to come check out 2022 Rollin' on the River, what would it be?
I think it's probably the one place you can find singing, dancing, live music, horns, sparkly costumes. It's probably the one place in Nashville where you get all of that in 1 hour, and a very lovely dinner. So
Couldn't have said it better myself. Can't wait to see you here. Thank you, Nikki.
thank you.
Let me do. Oh yeah, girl. It's all good. We're all good.
I've been with it since 1985 when she started, so 37 years. Well, we are an authentic paddle wheel boat, so no propellers underneath, just a big red wheel back there to push us. The paddle wheel itself is 40 feet across, 24 feet in diameter, weighs about 90,000 pounds.
Truly, this is the only vessel of its kind that you'll find anywhere, from show to dinner to majestic views of our very own Music City. This is the only ship you're going to want to be on. Guests enjoy a delicious southern meal prepared by Gaylord Opryland Resort's award-winning chefs inside the beautiful Victorian Theater. Midday and dinner cruises feature a 3-course southern meal. With 4 massive decks, the boat offers outside and inside access with views of the Cumberland River. The General Jackson is also available for private events such as corporate meetings, parties, weddings, and proms. We just finished dinner and we came up to the 3rd deck and are seeing views of our city that I have never seen before. Broadway's behind me, Nissan Stadium's on the other side, and we're turning around to head back. This is truly spectacular, and there is no other way to see Nashville than on the deck of the General Jackson, especially at night. Wow, what a show. I was blown away by the energy, the food, and definitely the performances. The big band, the rock, the soul, the R&B, and of course the country. The General Jackson had everything. Visit GeneralJackson.com to get your tickets for Rollin' on the River today. Gotta get back to work. I couldn't let you all go without sharing some of my favorite things that are popping up in spring fashion. Now, you know I love the bright colors and prints of Lily Pulitzer and, of course, the bold jewelry of Kendra Scott. But I turned to my friends at Able to help demonstrate some of these trends that are happening right now. And I want to start out with this crossbody bag. So what I love about this, you're like, Sammy, this isn't a crossbody. I know, but it's in this beautiful leather that Able does. There's no hardware in this bag, as you'll notice. And watch this amazing feat. You pull this through, and all of a sudden, your tote can become, easier said than done, a crossbody just like that. So this is one of my favorite things that we have right now for spring, especially in this beach color. Okay, one of the top jackets for spring is the utility jacket, especially if you don't need any rain protection. So this Franklin utility jacket is wonderful because not only can it be used as a jacket, of course, but you can really make it part of your outfit. You can leave it zipped, unzipped. It just does so many things. And this army green is such a great new neutral. Now, this swing dress that I have here, I pair it together because I just love how these go, but this dress is something that I have fallen in love with. It comes in other colors as well, but the black is so versatile for travel. I really like the V-neck, but then it's great if, you know, for maternity, it's size inclusive. Able is doing so many of their products size inclusive right now, up to 3X with some of their fashion, and it's just comfy, packable. This is going to be a new travel go-to, I promise. Okay, everyone give give me a hallelujah that skinny jeans seem to be on the way out. Woo-hoo. Yes, everyone is cheering. The sailor jean, my friends, is on the way in. So not only do we have this beautiful pocket detailing in front, but you also have the wider leg that you'll notice. So it's great. You can do it with sandals, with boots. You can even crop this hem if you want. It's a really fun detail, and I could not be more excited about this. Okay, speaking of the fun pocket detail, we have this little sweatsuit. So we've got the cropped zip front sweater and then the matching joggers with the elastic waist. And pastels are really big for spring this year. So I love that these are coming back. And of course these could be worn separately, but why wouldn't you pair these together? Because they're so versatile, so comfy, and it's just a great, great mix to wear wherever you're going. Can you tell, like, wouldn't this be great to throw in your suitcase? And of course, Able is known for their workmanship, their fair wages. I want to draw attention to the jewelry we have here from Able on the table, because if you have not seen a threader earring, you need to look. These threader earrings literally thread through your ear, and every time someone has seen them, they have had to get them. So look at some of this jewelry here. I'm going to link to it on the website as well, because what Able is doing, just not only in Nashville with everything personally soldered here, is amazing, but the fair wage is something that is to be celebrated. But speaking of exciting announcements, I did tease something that we get to announce here, and that is a new Kendra Scott store that's going to be opening at 5th and Broadway. You know I love Kendra Scott, and so I'm so excited to celebrate with them on April 29th for their grand opening event. We're inviting you to come too, because 20% of all proceeds are going to be donated back to help women, especially women entrepreneurs. It's going to be an amazing event. I hope you can join us there, and I want you to make sure that you visit Kendra Scott, Able, Lilly Pulitzer, and all of these great retailers that support us and support women as well. Before I go, I need you to know rest is not a four-letter word. You may already know I'm a big believer in the importance of therapy. It should also not surprise you that I take copious notes anytime I think someone is saying something important, and my counseling sessions are no exception to that rule. So you can imagine my surprise when, at the end of my last appointment, my therapist's big takeaway was for me to rest. Honestly, I don't know if I was more offended or relieved. I was scared that someone could see through my attempts to push myself to the end of my limits, or thankful that I was finally given permission to stop doing so. He challenged me to define what rest meant to me, and I knew he didn't just mean taking a nap, but instead wanted me to pursue active and purposeful rest, something that would recharge my body, mind, and soul. In Matthew 11:28, God gently tells us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." If I want to walk with God and truly put His word into practice, I must learn to create space to hear His voice. Recovery, replenishment, and rejuvenation are benefits of rest that only come once we walk in obedience. It requires activity on our part. Less frenetic activity than most of us are used to, but activity nonetheless. So I close today by asking you the same question that was asked of me. How do you define rest? Thank you for prioritizing your schedule to spend time with me and my guests today. Even if you take just one thing away from our time together, it will all have been worth it. I hope you have a great day. Make sure you make it great, and do not wait to tell someone you love how you feel about them. Bye, friends.